Let's see if it goes this way. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's Ali, your favorite eccentric slow man. I thought I'd come on and let's talk. Where can you go? Everybody wants to know. We're in the US. Where can we go? Is Europe better? Is Asia better? Let's talk about it. Let me first make sure you guys can hear me, okay? If you're just joining, y'all, I am Ali, your favorite eccentric slow man. I am your traveler, full-time live around this globe. Currently, I'm in Asia. One second, let me just check the sound. If you're on, tell me hi. Let me know you can hear me. Let me know you can hear me. I'm just going to check sound and make sure it's coming in clear. Check sound. Looks good. Okay, y'all. So let's jump right in. I'm going to give you some reasons for different types of lifestyle, things that we look for when we are considering traveling. Thank you, Worldwide Explorer. Where are you? I love your... Oh, hey. I just saw the picture. What's up? What's up? Okay, so let's talk. Are you still in the States? All right, so we are going to start with... I can read. I got to have all the stuff reading. So we're going to start with everyday like lifestyle vibes. Why you should pick one of the other, or what you should know about one or the other, y'all. So I'm in Thailand. I am moving and shaking. I am in Phuket area right now. If you're out in this area, say what's up. Only taking good vibes, though. Okay, so everyday vibes. Let's talk about Asia since I'm in Asia. And no, let's do Asia last. So we're going to compare EU, USA, and Asia around lifestyle vibes. This is going to be our first area. So let's start with the EU. One of the things that you're going to have to learn when you go to the EU is you're going to need to preferably be okay with walking everywhere. You could take Uber for a few blocks here or there, but honestly, just walking is like the vibe. This or public transportation. A lot of EU countries have buses and even like trams and things like that. Check it out, like Serbia. Hungary is a big walking city, country, specifically like Budapest, places like that. Hold on. I just lost my placing. But one of the things, if you're traveling in the summer months, it gets super hot. Okay, so just be prepared for that. Like so, I keep an umbrella and normally a hat with me and some sunblock. In Europe, get used to seeing cathedrals everywhere. One of the things that I loved about Europe and walking around and stuff was the corner markets, fresh fruit everywhere, specifically like places like Greece, Albania. I know Albania is like Balkan, but we're just going to consider all of that like in the Europe kind of nestle grouping. So fresh fruits, if you guys want to see, check my IG. I've got lots of video on stuff like that. Hey everybody, hey. So we're talking US versus Europe versus Asia. Where should you go? If you want to move, if you want to do some long-term travel, what's the best place for you? So right now we're talking about for lifestyle, what you can expect. I've got some notes, so that's when I'm reading my notes. So that's something that you're going to see. You're going to see lots of cathedrals. It's really cool if you get a chance to go in some, but make sure you are appropriately covered. Respect the house of the Lord. And then cafes everywhere. Everywhere you go, you'll see cafes and get something different. Get a different type of coffee. If you're in a certain country, check to see. Like if you're in Turkey, get a Turkish coffee. It's strong. It's different. It's different. It's different, but try it. You gotta at least try it once. If you're, in different countries, you gotta try what their staple is, right? And even if it is something that you would normally have in the States, make sure you try their version of it, okay? And if it doesn't seem like anything special, ask them, hey, how do you make it a little bit different than how we would have it in the States if you're from the States? Next, let's talk about Asia. So in Asia, one of the things that you'll get used to or you need to prepare yourself for or allow open space for is chaos. It looks like chaos, but it's not. It's controlled living. It's organized chaos, basically. So it's what we would assume is like off the wall, all over the place, but it is not. It is structured. It's a normal way of life, and you'll get used to it. You'll get used to walking around. You'll get used to scooters on the sidewalk. Places like Thailand and Vietnam, scooters are take precedence over on sidewalks. If there are sidewalks over pedestrians, you need to walk in the street, or they don't understand why you're like on the sidewalk. And yes, the scooters will cut in front of you, and you'll be like, get used to it. It's not necessarily personal. It's just culture. All right. What else? You'll get a mix of modern and ancient. Like you'll have a brand new construction building sitting right here, and then the next minute you'll have like an older cathedral. You'll have a temple sitting somewhere. You'll have a building that's been standing for the last 200 years, all mixed in. No, like zoning. You won't see that. What else? The nightlife begins. Life begins at night. This is something you'll see in most Asian countries and this is something you'll see in Europe too. But around 8 o'clock at night, especially in Asia where it's hot all the time, they don't come out until 6, 7, 8 o'clock, usually 8 p.m. So like at 10 p.m. you could be walking around and there's kids outside. It's a fantastic thing to see. So don't go to bed too early because you're going to miss out on all the cool things, the dancing in the park, the all the lights, the cool, like people selling different things and music playing. When I was in Hanoi a month and a half ago, one of the things that you see all the time is they shut down the streets and they have all these little cars and bikes and things that the kids rent, and you let your kids drive all around on the streets, and it's like all lit up, and they got the people with the different types of toys and stuff all over the place. It is super cool, something to get used to. Now, comparatively to life in the U.S., if you can't drive and you're not in a big metropolitan city with metro stations, sky trains like Chicago and all that, you might be in a world of trouble because you're going to need a car. So for those who are in Europe and Asia wanting to go to the States, it is completely different. Like you're going to need neighborhood cars. There's neighborhoods like no other. It's a different vibe. If you're not used to like true or seeing what true suburban life is, until you go to the US, you really won't understand it, right? Holiday season in the US doesn't exist. The US doesn't care about holiday. It's always everything's going to be open. Restaurants are going to be open. Very few places, unless they're mom and pop shop owned places, are going to be closed on a holiday. Christmas is not sacred. Thanksgiving is not sacred. Typically, you would see those places not open until the next day. Now they open at 6 p.m. So that whole family and community and taking time off, yeah, that doesn't really exist in the US. And supersize. That's a lifestyle thing. Everything in the US is bigger. In most places, supersize it. Supersize has been the bane of our existence. So just know that. All right, let's move on to the next thing, y'all. Let's talk about, so we kind of just hit on this food and eating habits. We're going to start with the EU. In the EU, they say cheese is your love language, and I can contest to that. Like if you're in Italy, cheese is on everything. If you're in Greece, feta is on everything. In everything, bread. Oh my God! If you're in the Balkans, cheese is everything. Lord have mercy. Yes, um, have it with some wine. Have it with sandwich. Have it with your salad. Have it with your water. Have it with your coffee. Cheese, just any variation of cheese, anything you thought you knew or didn't know. Hey, you guys, um, cheese is the answer in the EU. Oh, eating. So you know how the states like a big thing is eat and get up and go, move to the next thing, eat fast, and get out. Nowhere else in the world do they really do that. In the EU, especially, it is an experience. You go when you go to be in the space to sit and to. I mean, in some places, yeah, like the stand-up coffee shops where you grab your espresso, you have that, and you bounce off. That's different. But if you're going to have a meal, it is all about lavishing in it in the EU. So take your time, enjoy, grab a glass of wine, okay? And in the EU versus if you're from the West being the US, you won't have a server that comes to your table every 2 seconds. Get used to this is something that you really need to know. You're gonna think that they're on bad service and they are ignoring you. No, they give you your food. If you need someone, you say, excuse me, you say, excuse me, and then they'll come over to you. Otherwise, no. Oh, and don't ask for tap water. You're gonna get bottled water. Pay Perrier or still or sparkling. So you need to know the difference and order accordingly. In Asia, street food is the thing. Now, when I say street food doesn't mean it has to be on the street because one of the cool things about Asia is they have marts inside of malls where it's called like street food corners or like lunch, like what we call cafeteria style. Oh my God. And so you get the street food pricing, but you're inside a building, away from the heat, away from all of the elements of being outside. Boom, it's fantastic. That's one thing. Chopsticks. Now, yes, because many places are so used to the Western world, you're going to see a fork and a spoon somewhere, but you know you are in it deep when you get a chopstick in the little ladle spoon or the really big spoon. So you help it, or you sop up the soup, the juice as you're eating the noodles or the rice or whatever, or the vegetables or the meat, whatever you're having. That's a thing. Get used to it. Do some practice, y'all. Oh, and in Asia, bubble tea, and those little bubbles. That is like the tapioca. I believe. I don't know if it's technically tapioca, but the true bubble tea comes from tree bark. Who knew? I mean, now some of it's synthetic, but some of it comes from tree bark. Okay. All right, hold on. All right, and then in the US, respectively, let's give you the alternative. Refills are infinite. It's usually free. That's how they get you. You think you're getting a whole lot for nothing, and you're getting a whole lot, but it's going to cost you later on. Okay, so be aware. Portion control doesn't exist. Okay, so everything, like I said before, everything is bigger, and you'll have leftovers forever. This is a thing that you don't see here because a lot of times more people eat out on a regular basis, whereas we in the States we eat at home more so. And so taking leftovers is a thing. Taking leftovers in these different countries, EU and Asia, is not a thing because it's like you just go out the next day and get some food. Like who does leftovers? And because kitchens aren't a huge thing in the common everyday like apartments. Um, And we do drive-throughs more than people do like microwaves here. Like microwaves is a thing here, but in the States, a drive-through is a thing. Like in which hence kind of like collaborates this idea that you have to have a car. You don't go through the drive-through on your feet. I mean, you can, but you don't. All right, let's talk about healthcare really quick, okay? These are just the few things that I'm going to give you where you can, that are usually the important things. It's the lifestyle, where do you eat, where are you going to get your food, and healthcare culture. So in the EU, hospitals around the corner, you can probably be seen for less than $50, $30, walk in without healthcare and be seen. They have private and public hospitals in most of these countries, and you can figure out which one works for you, but you can easily walk in off the street, and it's not like, well, I'll get to the US and explain what that is about. Pharmacies are like boutiques, so everywhere you go, you know how you can go into a department store and get your contact solution, you'll get your what am I trying to say? Your Tylenols, your headache medicine, your antihistamine, that's what I was trying to say. All those things. No, they actually have a pharmacy where you go and you get all those things because you will not find them in the same place with your groceries. Sorry, I was getting a little loud in here. I apologize if you can't hear me. It's just cheaper. Everything is cheaper. So let's talk about Asia. Doctors are affordable. You can walk in. A lot of times it's really good to have an appointment, but you can walk in and get great service. I'm going to be doing some dental tourism coming up soon and let you guys know about that and what that would cost as compared to what it costs in the US without insurance. Private hospitals are like 5-star hotels. Even getting your dental work done is like a whole experience in Asia, okay? And as I said, medical tourism actually it's a thing. It's a real thing. Without breaking a leg, you can get so much done for very low. This always happens, y'all. I've been sitting here for 2 hours with no machines, no nothing. As soon as I go live. So hopefully you guys can still hear me. And last but not least, let's talk about healthcare culture in the United States. You got to have an insurance card. If you don't, they're going to either say, well, we only take insurance here, or the price may be elevated. But lately what I'm finding is you can actually get a discount for some procedures if you don't have insurance. And as soon as you present your insurance card, the cost is more. So be aware of that. Like sometimes having insurance ain't that great in the US. The US is starting to figure out some things. They're figuring out that people are going abroad for the things that people go to college for, paying $200,000, $300,000 for degrees to become in the medical profession. And we're all going to different countries to get our work done because it's so much cheaper, right? You're going to have a lot of bills. CVS and Walgreens stores and stuff like that are, just out the wazoo. And it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. But it is in the United States. So you need to know that. Because a lot of times people think, oh, we're going to go over there. It's so much better. The U.S. in terms of healthcare to me is like third world. It's like it doesn't exist. And then don't need an ambulance. If you need an ambulance in the United States, an ambulance in the United States is going to cost you more than your procedure paying out-of-pocket cash with no insurance in another country. Okay, specifically like anywhere, even like South and Central America. Okay, so those are a few things I just wanted to share with you guys. I thought I'd come on live and just do a quick talk on the US versus Asia versus the EU. If you were to move, which one would you move to? What lifestyle are you looking for? The US overcomplicates things to make it more expensive. Yes, they do. Let me tell you guys a really quick story. I went to go get some contacts not replaced, but get some. I didn't have any. I was in Mexico. This is when I first left the country in 2020. So I didn't bring a lot of stuff with me because I was only going to be gone for 2 weeks. But lo and behold, 4 months starts to roll around, and I'm like, I need to replace my contacts, because I got a few more country or cities to see, provinces to see before I go back to the U.S. to continue my long-term, I'm on year number 5 journey. And I went into a mall and I was like, well, let me see. I've got my little containers for my contacts. Let's see if I can get some help. Walked into a random optical store and asked the lady, I said, I don't have my prescription. Can you guys help me? She said, well, let's see. And she took my little thingies and she said, well, let's just see what your prescription is. Because she said, we don't have the way the US writes it. She was like, we don't have that exact prescription because I've got like a mix of astigmatism and all kinds of things. So they put on my wool kicking glasses. Anybody know the reference? She literally put these little glasses, not the big thing, they do have that, but she put these little glasses on, did some dials on the glasses itself, and literally gave me my prescription. Y'all, when I put these contacts in, they were better than the ones that I got from my expensive obstetrician in the US. So much so that when I went back to the US, I was like, can y'all match these? Can you match this prescription? And he was upset. The doctor that I have in the US was upset that I actually went to Mexico and filled a prescription, and the cost for 6 months worth was I paid $66. I believe it was $66. As compared to US on sale, I'll get a box or two for maybe $88 to $120. So now I get my stigmatism prescription and I get a prescription without astigmatism. Let me just tell you, I really believe that because we make it so difficult in the US and it's so expensive, that is why you have your providers that they get really upset when you find alternatives to what they've been taught is the only way. And you go around the world and you're just like, well, wait a minute. We've been trained to believe that healthcare around anywhere except the US is just low ball, third world. Let me strike that from your psyche. We have got to start reprogramming ourselves in the way that we think. And the only way, and if you get up and go yourself. So I'm a person who's doing it real time every day for 5 years, like just literally living out here. I'm not touring. I'm not a tour person. I'm not like on a vacation or I'm literally living every day. So how do I live every day? Doing some of the same things I did in the States. And so when you do some of the same things you do in the States, you start to realize this overlap or the truth about situations and the things that we've been also told that make America so great. Those things are great, but the rest of the world has them and is upgraded because most of the rest of the world has gone through enough revolutions that they have newer infrastructure than we do in the U.S. You guys tell me, when was the last time we actually built some real infrastructure in the U.S.? We're not even going to get into that on this. But I just want to challenge you guys to start thinking about things a little bit deeper than sound bites that you hear when you see these different things. We got bridges falling down. We got planes falling out of the sky. We've got potholes everywhere. So we're making money off of patching. We're actually not reconstructing things new. And the things that we are constructing that are new are things that take us out of being a part of that construction and that development. When you've got more AI, not to say that AI is bad, but when that is the only thing that we're building facilities for AI, but we're not building facilities for people to work. We're destroying things like the Hyundai thing that was supposed to create more jobs, which then turns and creates more jobs and more jobs and more jobs. And that's now a wash. You guys, get out. I also help you get out. I've got some tools, I got some travel courses, I got some one-on-one sessions. If you need help just starting to figure out how you can do this for yourself, please tap in. I'll have some info in the description. You can go to my link tree and actually just find all of the links, but I'll have some stuff in the description you guys can tap into. Please, please, exactly. During we ain't building nothing, and yes, traveling is so important. It is so important, and it's hard to have these kinds of video. I mean, I can make these videos and do the highlight reels all the time, but we are in a point in time where there's no way not to talk about the political side of it. And so, I implore you guys to really um, consider there's more to what you're hearing than what you're hearing and saying. Get out here like the rest of us. And I'm gonna paint the real picture. So if you're on my Instagram, if you follow me on other things, you'll see me walking through places that aren't pristine, that aren't totally built up. But their systems, for example, Africa, East Africa has the best mobile money system, and I've been saying that since 2021. Than any place in the world, like a lot of maybe Asia. Asia's probably coming up as a close second, but we always think of Africa as being underdeveloped and they don't have all the things together. But let me explain to you that even in 2021, and this was a system that has been out for years and years. It's called M-Pesa. They use it in Tanzania as well as Kenya. And you literally could pay for a back scratch with a phone system. You can get cash from a person with a backpack of money. You find the agent number, boom, for the location that you're closest in, and you put the little code in for the agent. The money comes out of your account that's attached to it. You walk up to a person that's sitting on the side street or a boutique or whatever in this coffee shop. They could be an M-Pesa dealer, and they hand you cash. Say what? Say what? Right. You guys would never know these things if you don't get out here and if you don't have a resource that's already out here doing these things. I really, really encourage you to get out, even if it's for a month-long visit. A month-long visit. Anything less than that feels like vacation. You're going to be like, oh my God, I got to do. Let me tell you, I travel so much now that I don't do any tours my first month. At least not my first 2 weeks. If I know I'm going to be somewhere for a short amount of time, I may go and do something just so that I can show this is what it's really like, or this is something that you should do. So when I'm creating my guides and things like that, you guys get a well-rounded view of some of the things, and they're not just Instagram reels, right? But for the most part, I'm looking to see, is this a place that I could live based on some of the criteria versus lifestyle. Is this a lifestyle that I can deal with? It's got to be walkable for me. There's got to be access. I want buses and trains and all kinds. I want to be able to easily move about. What's the food situation? I'm plant-based. How easily can I get fresh fruits and vegetables, and get that authentic local feel? And then healthcare. If something were to happen, what's the probability of me getting access without having a car, without being a resident, without being, having citizenship, you guys? There's a lot. There's so much. When are you leaving, Dorena? Am I saying your name right? When are you leaving? Look like I gotta block some people. Let me go ahead and block people. Report and block. So, when you type crazy things, oops. Let's see. I think these stigmas held a lot of people out of traveling around outside the U.S., unfortunately. And after I finished college, I'm almost finished with, oh, that's fantastic. Do you know where you want to go or where you are going? And I'm going to just touch on the stigmas, right? so much of it is beyond just even the concept of stigmas. What I realized in doing some research when I was in radio, I used to talk about, the United States as compared to other countries and why we never traveled, because I've always been a traveler. And one of the things I learned from doing some research and looking at the numbers is that the United States had the least number of citizens with passports. And that's because, if you guys may not know, up until the early 2000s, we didn't need passports to even go to Mexico. Like, I went to Mexico with my son, didn't need a passport. We still can travel on cruises to the Caribbean without passports, right? And they did that because, if you think about it, we're the greatest country because our money never leaves our border, right? So if your money never leaves your border, this is everybody spends their money within. And so then you have these groups that literally spew hate about going any other place, right? Because they literally believe in their mind and nothing is better than the US. Now, the US is beautiful. It can be beautiful, but it's not the only place in the world. And when you start to travel other places, they know that you're going to spend your money elsewhere. They're intelligent and from that respect, right? So why would they tell you that there's other beautiful places in the world? I mean, they even made us think that Africa was nothing but kids, poor, homeless, non-eating kids with flies. Y'all, have you been to Africa? I've been to 6 or 7 countries at this point. Amazing. It's amazing. It's more beautiful, more built up than many places in the U.S. The most beautiful place we have in the U.S. is the Grand Canyon. You want to know why? Because we ain't touched it. We can't touch it. It's one of the most beautiful places in the U.S. I would like to settle somewhere in Africa and retire there. Yes, so I will be back, ideally, hopefully, not on, I don't know if this is wood or brick, back in South Africa in January timeframe. I was there this year for about almost 3 months. So I will be back there in 2026. I was just in Cabo Verde. Was it last year I was in Cabo? Or this year? It must have been last year. Like, my day, everything is so mixed up. And I went to Zimbabwe. I've been to Kenya, Tanzania, Egypt, Senegal, Morocco. Yes, all of those places are Africa. Even the north, even the ones who don't think they are. Egypt and Morocco is Africa. Beautiful, beautiful. It's worth it. The thing with Africa, there's 54 countries in Africa, and each one is so different. I may even take up Ibrahim on his offer to offer citizenship and go to Burkina Faso, just see what they doing, because I'm just intrigued. This man is literally coming in and changing things. Anyway, I don't want to get into a whole bunch of that. You guys, hopefully you enjoyed this part. Dorena, I hope to see you back on this channel. Keep me updated, please, on what's going on, what's happening. If you're making the moves to start your journey and your planning. And I'm gonna actually create some guides for each country as well. I have some small guides, mini guides that I'm calling they're called travel companions for different countries and cities. And I think I'll create some for Africa too, because right now Asia and Africa seem to be the big spots where people are really looking to relocate. And I want to be able to assist you. I have a wealth of knowledge, not everything, but just my experience, authentic experience, and I definitely would love to share with you guys. So anyway, I hope all goes well, you guys. I'm out of here. Y'all know the drill. Toodles and noodles. Peace and hair grease.